Are you ready, Jeremy?
Oh, I'm ready. Let's get started. Welcome to the Engine Noise Podcast, Car News and Coffee, brought to you by 1AAuto.com. Quality auto parts and thousands of how-to videos that walk you through your installs. So, this is week 4 of Engine Noise Podcast, Car News and Coffee, and we have some hot news for you right off the press.
That's right, Jeremy. It's news that is on trend and current. It's what's hot and trending in the automotive world. A bonus segment that we're releasing in between podcast episodes. Who doesn't like a bonus?
I do.
Our episodes drop on the 1st and 15th of every month, so these are some quick little sound bites to hold you over in between.
All right, headlight number 1. Headlight. This is not a headlight, it's a headline. Totally different things. Headline number 1. Volkswagen squashes the bug. Is this the end of the line for the iconic Beetle? The story goes, after 7 decades, the longest-running car in the automotive history is about to disappear. Volkswagen will end production of its iconic Beetle by the end of 2019 model year. Conceived in Germany during the run-up to World War II, the Beetle became an icon of American counterculture. But it lost momentum in the 1970s, and despite 2 attempts to rebuild its appeal with complete makeovers, it has been little more than a largely forgotten niche vehicle in recent years. So Volkswagen has launched what it calls the Final Edition, special versions of the Beetle coupe and convertible models that will mark the end of the run sometime next year. So, Matt, how do you feel about this?
I'm actually not too sad about this.
Really?
I was never a big Beetle guy.
Yeah, I was never a Beetle guy either. I like air-cooled Volkswagens because I think they're kind of fun to tinker with.
Yeah.
And they're so, basic. My parents have a newer Volkswagen Beetle convertible that they got for, some obscenely cheap price. Used with, 100,000 miles. And it's kind of a dorky little convertible car.
So I feel bad for the people who do like the Beetle.
Yeah.
Although, won't theirs go up in value now?
Or they become like Pontiacs and Saturns, where they just kind of die off and nobody wants them anymore.
Oh.
Could go either way. I feel like air-cooled Volkswagens and Volkswagen buses and stuff will still be a popular thing, but
Yeah.
the water-cooled ones, they're just kind of vanish. That's my theory. The air-cooled Volkswagens were built up to 2003 in Mexico, but it was like a 1971 Volkswagen that was copied every year. And the US didn't actually carry those Volkswagens after 79 or something like that, somewhere around there. And then in 2000, somewhere around the year 2000, they came out with the water-cooled Volkswagens, which is the one you see on the street all the time. And those ones, they were kind of cool for a while. I think all of the baby boomer generation kind of got into them and they were like, sweet, we can have Volkswagens again. And they were halfway reliable instead of the air-cooled ones, which are kind of not. Time passes and now the name is the same, but now they're killing off the actual Beetle name and it's the end of the road. Bye-bye, Beetle.
There were 4 original Beetles, did you know that?
Paul,
George, Ringo, and John.
All right, headline number 2. Nissan recalls over 215,000 vehicles in the U.S. for fire concerns. This kind of reminds me of our last Car News and Coffee where
I was just going to say, another one, huh?
The Ford truck recall with the fiery seatbelts. It's kind of weird. Everything's lighting on fire these days, Matt.
It's so hot and trending, that's why.
So hot. Nissan North America is recalling 215,124 vehicles in the U.S. over anti-lock brake pump defect that may increase the risk of a fire. The recall affects certain 2015 to 17 Nissan Muranos, 2016 and 17 Nissan Maximas, 2017 and 18 Nissan Pathfinders, and 2017 Infiniti QX60s, according to the Safety Recall Report. The automaker is advising owners to park their vehicles outdoors away from other vehicles and structures. Wow, Matt.
This sounds pretty serious.
Sounds scary. The seal on the anti-lock brake pump may leak fluid onto the circuit board, which could create an electrical short and in rare cases may lead to a fire, the report says. If this occurs, an ABS warning lamp will continually illuminate on an instrument panel to warn the driver, the report says. That seems kind of ineffective if the car's on fire,
you
Matt.
couldn't tell by the huge flames.
Yeah. If the car's
that
on
little
fire,
light down to the left.
Yeah, all right. Dealerships will inspect the serial number of the ABS actuator on affected vehicles, and if it falls within a specified range, they will replace the brake pump. No deaths or injuries are linked to the recall, and no recall dates have been set as of yet. I guess, generally, newer cars are lighting on fire, Matt.
Yeah, I guess so.
Seatbelts, ABS pumps.
The dealerships will inspect the serial numbers. If it doesn't, why not just replace the brake pump?
If it's not within the specified range of faulty ones,
How
I
about
guess.
just in case?
I know.
Hey, this article scares the crap out of me. I have a vehicle within this date range. Please change the brake pump.
Yeah, I guess they're saying if you don't have it within that specified range, you're good. It is kind of funny that they don't want you to park it next to other vehicles or structures. Clearly.
Funny or scary.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, it's a big problem.
Yeah, I drove my Avalanche home the other night, and the cabin of the truck filled with smoke. So I opened the windows, but I parked it in my driveway as far away from my house as possible, and then I went to bed, and I woke up in the morning, and I was like, it's still there. I was hoping it was just going to, like, melt down in the driveway.
Well, if you buy a Nissan Murano or Maxima or Pathfinder.
There's a good chance.
Yeah. Headline 3. A wheel-driven car set a 483 mile-per-hour record at Bonneville.
That's fast, Matt.
That's really fast. Imagine driving so quickly that you could travel the distance of 2 football fields in a single second. That's exactly how driver Dave Spangler behind the wheel of Team Vesco's coveted Turbinator 2 felt last Friday at the Bonneville World of Speed. Now, 483 miles per hour isn't the fastest land speed record to top them all. However, it is the fastest land speed record to be achieved by a vehicle powered using its own wheels. That alone makes the feat absolutely incredible. At its record-setting speed, the Turbinator 2 was traveling an entire mile every 7.5 seconds on the flats. But this speed isn't enough for Vesco. The team is already talking about its next record, where it aims to break its own record and hit 500 miles per hour. That's some speed, Jeremy.
That's pretty fast, Matt.
What I'd like to know is, what does it mean where it's using its own wheels? What else would it use?
A rocket.
Okay.
So, or like a jet engine.
So,
That's
land speed record.
Yeah.
It would just be floating?
No, it's
Or-
on
oh,
wheels
so it's
that are on bearings.
pushing it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like
The car
a
is
jet.
actually pushing itself.
Yeah, exactly. So this has like an internal combustion engine of some sort that isn't a jet.
Aha.
That is driving the wheels through like a transmission and then axles. And that is different than the actual land speed record overall, which is a jet engine that's on wheels that are just rolling on bearings.
That's cheating.
I mean, if you
I
told
mean, it's still cool, but...
I mean, the guy probably went like 700 miles an hour or something like that. If you told him he's cheating, he's going to be pretty upset.
Well, I mean, he holds a record.
Yeah,
I don't think he'd
that's
be
true.
too upset at me. You know?
I mean, Ed China holds the record for fastest toilet.
That's true.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, 483, that's pretty fast.
That's really fast. Imagine that in the Le Mans.
No, I can't even imagine the kind of parts that would fly off at that speed.
One little bump.
Yeah, game
Gone.
over. I mean, there's no seatbelts in it either, so... I wonder if they would even allow that. Probably not, right? You go to the like Speed Week or wherever they do this and say, yeah, I'd like to race this Le Mans at 483 miles an hour. And they say, do you have seatbelts? Nope.
I think the first
Sure
thing
don't.
would be, no. We see it. No. I don't think they'd say, does that have
Yeah.
seatbelts? I think they would assume no.
They would just be like, man, that thing can't top 40 miles an hour. So yeah, 483.
It's impressive.
Fast.
It's a lot faster than we got through car news and coffee. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And I think one of the interesting things is it is four-wheel drive. I imagine they did that for traction reasons because they want to get as much traction as possible to get the bazillion horsepower that they have through the wheels and onto the ground. It's kind of neat. Four-wheel drive, solid aluminum wheels, which is kind of cool. I can't even imagine what kind of cool machine you would use to make solid aluminum wheels like that, but it sounds pretty rad.
It's got a really cool name, too.
Turbonator?
Yeah.
I know. I wish I had a car named the Turbonator.
Turbonator.
Maybe I'll just write that down the Le Mans.
Maybe it's trademark, Jeremy.
It probably is. And this about wraps up our Engine Noise Podcast, Car News and Coffee. Engine Noise Podcast, Car News and Coffee is brought to you by oneauto.com. Quality auto parts and thousands of how-to videos that'll walk you through your installs. Be sure to tune in to the Engine Noise Podcast on the 1st and 15th of every month. And until then, have a little car news with your coffee.
How do you take your coffee, Jeremy?
How do I take my coffee? I guess I get a little of everything. Sometimes I do cream, sometimes I do milk, sometimes I'll just have a black coffee.
So you're a variety kind of guy.
It's a spice of life.
I have to make my own coffee every time. Nobody can
Really?
make the coffee I want to make it.
Really?
Yeah, it's perfect amount of sugar and perfect amount of half and half and milk at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is it like 3/4 then if it's half and half and full milk?
I don't know. That's a good question.
You
I
know what
don't
you should do?
What's that?
Is invent Matt's 3/4 coffee milk.
Ooh, $1 million idea right there.
Billion.
I
I would
like
say
it.
$1 billion.
You know what? I am very particular about the temperature of my coffee too.
I had a coffee yesterday that burned my mouth.
Yeah, I hate it.
I hate that.
That's why another reason I have to make my own coffee.
If we don't invent this, somebody should invent a cup that takes hot coffee and it has like a little cooling area in the top.
Ooh.
So the coffee goes from like one chamber where it's hot to like a medium
Yep.
chamber where it can cool down and it has like air all around it. Like
Absolutely.
like,
Like an air-cooled
Like an
Volkswagen Beetle.
something like that. And then every sip you have is cooled down to like a normal drinking temperature.
I
It doesn't
really
burn
like
your
that's
mouth.
another $1 million idea. Boom. $1 million for me, $1 million for you.
Oh, actually, you know what's weird is that I feel the opposite way of coffee because I feel like I can't make my own coffee.
Really?
If I make my own coffee, it's the worst coffee I've ever had in my life. The only way I drink coffee is if somebody else makes it. And even if I'll beg my wife to make me a coffee so that I don't have to make it because it's so bad when I make it.
Wow.
Even if I do the exact same thing as her, it's like atrocious.
I think you need to make a coffee so I can try it because I'm really curious.
You won't
because
even believe it.
Because it can't be that hard to make a coffee.
Imagine putting like dirty socks in a cup, mix it with hot water. That's what my coffee tastes like.
Okay.
Except worse.
Maybe I don't want
Yeah,
some of your
it's
coffee.
bad. It's real bad. Do you do flavor shots?
Never.
Espresso?
Nope.
Cappuccino?
Nope.
Latte?
Nope.